now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please welcome to the ice the members of the 2016 NCAA National Champions from the University of North Dakota.
3, 2.
Welcome back to the Has-Beens, presented by 10K Takes, brought to you always by the Chill Boys, and everyone knows the Chill Boys. They've got the bamboo underwear, socks, t-shirts now, and for the first-time purchasers, 15% off, HB15. You get 15% off your first purchase with the Chill Boys. So go out and check out the Chill Boys. Chill Boys on Instagram, Twitter, www.chillboys.com. Get your bamboo stuff. Great stuff, folks. You are guaranteed to like it. Now we'll get into the weekend recap brought to you by Beauty Status. And folks, Beauty Status is an authentic Minnesota hockey brand. Just, original stuff, t-shirts, head covers, stickers for the man cave, flags, polos. They've got it all. Good Minnesota hockey stuff for all the fans out there. Go and check out Beauty Status on all socials. Their website is www.beautystatishky.com. Now let's get into our weekend recap. Does anyone want to start us off here? What did you guys get up to on the... Actually, you know what? I forgot. This is a little different podcast for all of us. I got caught up in reading the ads. But for the listeners... Our producer, Jack Mason, he is sick right now. He's out. He couldn't make it. It's been a weird week. Trevor Olson, also sick. So I am in here running the show with, the longtime listener, recurring guest, legend on the show, Casey Purpur. Perp, thanks for coming on. Thanks for filling in. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's always good to be back here at the 10K studios. I feel at home. Third time's a charm. Maybe this will be the big one that goes viral and we take off and this thing goes to the moon.
Should be.
And and there's no one else I'd rather have by my side co-hosting other than Olson, Casey Purpur here. And for the folks out there, I'll introduce John after this, but for the folks out there, the last few weeks I have been shouting out the Grand Forks Italian Moon Whalers Catering. You can skip that red pepper stop. Just head over to the Italian Moon. You'll find everything you need there. And a very special guest, John Schuldt, Minnetonka native. John, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And just like my college hockey career, I'm just happy to be here. That's actually similar to all three of us, I think.
Sounds just about right.
Does anyone want to start us off with their weekend recap? What'd you guys get up to? What'd you get up to on the weekend?
Yeah, so I had a pretty interesting weekend. I was over in the beautiful college city of Madison, but not for what I'm normally going to college cities for. I was there for a little trip to meet a friend's baby, so I had a little bit different look. I could hear the stadium rocking, and I was walking through the farmer's market, kind of tore me up inside, but overall it was a great weekend. This is Coley's best friend. They had a baby. The husband's a phenomenal cook, so I ate some good food, drank some expensive whiskey. But yeah, stayed in a hotel, got Lou running around a little bit, bought him a Wisconsin t-shirt. I also got to see one of my former players play, Vivian Jungles. I went to her game on Friday night
cool.
For the Wisconsin women's team there, so that was pretty cool. Caught a game. She had an assist, so that was cool to see. Other than that, though, nothing too crazy. Pretty chill weekend in a college town.
It is kind of funny, when you get a little older, your weekend consisted of good food, some nice whiskey. Just probably a few years ago, a good weekend would consist of, some free Natty Ice and some Smirnoff or UV Blue out of the bottle.
Yeah,
but life hits you fast.
Yeah, when you have a kid, get that kid to bed and enjoy some expensive whiskey if it's not on your dime, and that's a pretty damn good night. So I'm not complaining there.
Take it any day.
Yeah.
John, what did you get up to this weekend?
So I don't think I'm quite there yet where food and whiskey is kind of my good weekend. But so the plan was to have a chill weekend, just babysit my dog and kind of relax. My girlfriend was out of town for the weekend in Nashville. So Thursday or Friday night, I'm watching the Dahmer series, get that started. Just having a relaxing night. And then I get a text from Brandon McManus, one of my buddies. He's like, what are you doing tonight? Want to hang out? I'm like, well, I'm sitting at home watching the Dahmer series. You could come have a beer if you want. He's like, perfect. So he comes over. We have a couple beers. I get invited to go down to North Loop. I'm like, no,
Manner's not letting you stay in that night.
Dahmer and beers sounds kind
yeah. So, and he ends up getting me to go out. I'd already told my buddies in North Loop that I'm not coming out. They see that I'm going out in West End, and they're like, well, you're halfway here. Next thing you know, I'm down in West End. So, not planned, but okay, works. Saturday, not planning on going out. Watching the Tommies represent, play the Huskies. Game didn't go as planned, but again, my buddies convinced me to go to Plums. I think I was the oldest person to ever step foot in Plums on Saturday night. But
Plums is a hell.
And for the listeners who don't know, Plums is a St. Thomas bar down in St. Paul, and the maximum age they allow in there is 21 years old, and it's pretty much high schoolers and 21-year-olds there. And if you're any older, you look like a grandpa in there. So that's unbelievable. I love that you were there. I mean, how was that trying to fit in? Like, were you trying to like fit in with the crowd and say, you know, the bet? Like someone tells you something, you're like, yeah, bet.
Yeah, I put my hat on as high as I could on my head and just walked around there. But no, I was out of place. We ended up leaving pretty early, but for a good reason. I got to watch my oldest brother Joe, run the half marathon down in St. Paul, and then we watched the Vikings get a victory at the best bar in St. Paul, Tom Reed's. So it was a good weekend.
Tom Reed's is a good spot. Purpur and I have watched a few hockey games there together. It's a great spot.
Had a few beers at Tom Reed's.
Yeah, no, good. You?
2-for-1s during
bad.
Vikings, Wild, and Packer games. So great spot to watch.
I didn't know the Packers were thrown in there.
Yeah.
I might have to make a stop.
I don't know why.
A little Sunday stop, Packer game.
What a piece of shit Tom Reed is.
Watch Rogers sling it around a little bit on a Sunday. Why not?
Come on.
Okay, I guess for my weekend now. Good weekends, guys. Mine was it was pretty laid back, but I did have a little setback. So I was going to out east to visit my girlfriend. She's playing hockey out east there, and I went to watch her weekend series. It was so I fly out Friday at 12 o'clock. My original flight was at like 5 p.m. on Friday, and it was a one-way straight to Boston. I'd get in at like 9 p.m. Probably get to Manchester where she lives at around 10. And I told her my flight, and she's like, yeah, why don't you come earlier? And I'm like, fuck, you're right. I'm leaving. Might as well try to come earlier. So I find an earlier flight, connects me in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we're flying to Raleigh, and when we're landing, it's just a fucking huge storm. I mean, I thought we were going down. It was the scariest shit ever. I don't know how we landed. We landed, I mean, it's just pissing outside. And I'm like, fucking North Carolina, like, Jesus Christ, wasn't there just a fucking hurricane in Florida? So I look at the radar, and we are in the middle of Hurricane Ian. It's on land. It's not a hurricane anymore, but it's fucking.
So you flew into the eye of Hurricane Ian.
I flew straight into Hurricane Ian and somehow landed, and I was stuck in Raleigh, North Carolina until about 2 o'clock Saturday. So I flew out on Saturday, had to spend the night in a hotel in Raleigh, wasted the whole weekend essentially.
That's kind of a nice little thing though, like getting stuck somewhere, get a hotel room. Maybe find the hotel bar.
I mean, by myself, and my girlfriend was, I feel so bad, like I'm so sorry, because she was kind of the one that convinced me to take the flight, but I was like, no, like it's actually okay, like I'm just in a hotel room by myself, and like it's okay, like I'm doing just fine.
One night there, a little hotel bar
not
action.
bad.
Like,
I mean,
it's a good night.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the only tough part was I got the hotel at like 6 p.m. and then I obviously was looking at Ubers to bring me to a bar nearby because there's games on, and just might as well sit at a bar and watch some games. But there was no Ubers humming around because of the storm. It was so bad. It was flash flood warnings. I mean, it was pissing out.
Were the bars even open if you were to go?
I don't think they would. I don't think anyone would have been there. So I ended up staying the whole night in my hotel room. But then eventually made it up to Boston, Manchester. Watched my girlfriend play a couple hockey games, which was funny because, before this I had never seen her play. But she plays the exact same game as I did when I was in school. Just hard on D,
meat and potatoes.
Good, good skating, good stick, but just not really the offensive touch there. And I was watching, I was just laughing like this is ridiculous. Our kids are fucked. I'm like,
whoa, are we having kids?
Well, we've talked about it. No, but yeah, I mean, if we do have kids, they will not be stick handlers. We're gonna put them back in the blue line, maybe even a fucking goalie. I don't know, but
that might be a little too far.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
We're too normal for that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the fun stuff. Brought to you by Butter Golf, and everyone knows Butter Golf is Jordan Schmaltz's golf brand. He's playing overseas right now, hockey. He's still working on the brand, coming out with new drops next spring. Keep an eye out. There's still some good stuff left, but he is selling out on his original stuff. So if you do want some of this Butter Golf stuff, make sure to get out to buttergolf.com and on the socials. It's just unbelievable stuff, and a bunch of NHL players are going to be wearing it, so you're not going to want to miss out. Let's move on to the fun stuff, and we're gonna go to predictions here, but I do want to bring up last week's predictions. So last week we picked North Dakota, Manitoba, Minnesota, Lindenwood, and Wisconsin, Lakehead. Ols and I tied on the North Dakota, Manitoba series. Mace won the Minnesota, Lindenwood series, and Ols nailed it on the head with the Wisconsin, Lakehead series. He called a 3-2 Lakehead win, which is what happened. And
Wisconsin lost.
Wisconsin lost.
I did not see that.
I didn't see that either.
Wisconsin lost to Lakehead. I don't even know what that is, but they lost, and Ols called it, and I was laughing because I was going to call the same thing because for some reason Wisconsin seems like they're an absolute shambles.
They have not figured it out since that year they completely took a nosedive. They've never been able to get it back right.
You guys didn't even know where Lakehead was.
I don't know where it is.
Do you
Thunder Bay on? Yeah, I knew this.
Yeah, okay, Thunder Bay. Yeah,
you guys didn't know where Lindenwood was either.
No.
Come on.
Missouri. I mean, Ols knew. How the fuck am I supposed to know where Lindenwood is? Missouri?
They're
I know
D1 now.
I know where
Are they really?
Yeah, they're
I know
D1
where
now.
Lindenwood's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're pretty well known.
So how many teams got added in D1 recently?
You got
St. Thomas, Lindenwood,
Long Island was
Augustana,
fairly
Long Island.
recent.
Augustana's D1 too.
Yeah,
They will
they're
be
running
next year, yeah.
running independent this year. Or are they still?
And
playing
that
Or are they just coming
LIU,
in
Long
next year?
Island
Next year.
University is D1 now.
Yeah.
Yep, independent.
Mm-hmm.
And then Augustana will be added
What
to
league
CCHA.
are those teams going to play in?
It's a good question. I think Augustana. Did they actually get a CCHA?
Yep.
Yeah, they got CCHA.
And St. Thomas, where are they right
They're
now?
CCHA.
CCHA
Yeah.
as well.
CCHA is actually pretty solid right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Who's the best team in CCHA right now?
Mankato. They've kind of ran.
Oh yeah,
ran
I
the show
suppose
there for a
they're
while.
that's the old
But,
WCHA. I should know this more.
I think the preseason had Northern ranked 2 in the CCHA.
Oh.
So I got that on the alumni bulletin, so I'm pretty fired up about that.
Okay, so we'll get into our predictions here for this weekend here. We've got 2 one-game shots, and then the third one's going to be a series call. The first game, it's in a tournament, Denver versus Notre Dame. We're going to pick scores here. I'm going to pick Denver 3-2. I just think I think Notre Dame's tough. They're always good, but Denver's nationally ranked number 1. They're supposed to be unbelievable. They're going to squeak out a 3-2 win at the start of the season here.
Am I picking on behalf of Ols, or am I my own person?
You're your own person, but Ols is going to have to eat your pick.
He's going to eat my scores. I think I'm going to go. Let's go Fighting Irish.
Okay.
Let's go 2-1. I don't have a reason. I'm a Rudy guy. I'm an Irish guy myself. So
people don't know this about Perp, but
I almost wore the Rudy jacket just because of this pick.
His go-to Halloween costume is wearing the Notre Dame Letterman jacket and being Rudy, because he does look like Rudy.
I can see it.
And it's one of the best Halloween costumes you could possibly
I'll
have.
wear that costume. The jacket was $300. I'm wearing that costume. It's authentic. It's like movie quality. It'll be my costume till I die. I'll wear
It has to be.
Yeah, it has
That
to be.
has to be your MO. Like, you're always Rudy for Halloween.
I have to be.
And you know Lou, your son, once he gets old, he's going to make fun of you. It's like, oh, fucking Rudy's coming out. And Rudy, sure enough, is going to come out.
He's going to bring friends over and like, yeah, just ignore my dad. He's such a loser. He wears that jacket every year. But.
All right, I'll kind of go off the cuff. You guys had maybe low scoring. So I think Denver might be a little tired from their national championship run.
Oh, yeah.
I know it is in Denver. This is the research that I did.
Oh, man.
It's in Denver, so
Tough
there
spot
should
to play.
be some elevation in play, but I still think the Fighting Irish and Chase Primo pull it off 5-4.
5-4. Okay,
Wow.
I like
A
that.
barn burner. I like that too.
Now, part of me really wants Notre Dame to win because I do kind of hate Denver, just being an NCHC rival. But I also do favor the NCHC. I want them to do well, and I want the league to look strong for some reason. I don't know why.
Understandable.
So it's a tough one for me. I wouldn't be butthurt whoever wins that game, which is nice. We'll move on to the next one. Boston College versus Quinnipiac. 1 game shot. Who do you guys got?
I'm gonna go Quinnipiac. I like Quinnipiac. They've been good. I mean, what were they ranked last year? Top? Did they make the Frozen Four?
God, I don't think they did, but I know Schloss. So Brad Schlossman, the North Dakota beat writer. So last year he picked Denver to win it all, and people were like, "The fuck you talking
what
about?"
What a tough pick.
Well, at the start of the season, it was a bad pick because people thought Denver was going to be bad.
Yeah, but it's Denver. They're never bad.
That's true.
But they end up winning it, and now he looks smart. So he picked Quinnipiac to win it all this year.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go Quinnipiac. I mean, when you initially told us these games that we were gonna have to pick, the main reason I'm not picking BC is childhood trauma. I hate Boston College. 3 Frozen Fours as a kid, going to watch North Dakota and Milwaukee, St. Louis, Denver, knocked UND out on the first night. And as a kid, that was like heartbreak city. You're so fired up, heading to the Frozen Four with your friends. I mean, Paul cried at one of them. Paul Ledoux cried at one of the Frozen Fours. That's how passionate that kid is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Boston College pretty much ripped our childhood apart. All we wanted was a North Dakota national championship. Boston College took it away.
Not today.
I'll never pick them.
Quinnipiac. Yeah, I like that. And a funny story, we had Ryan Duncan on in the past, and he played for those North Dakota teams. He went to the Frozen Four 3 times, lost to BC 3 times.
Those are the 3 Frozen Fours
I can't
I'm talking
imagine.
about. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. What score did you pick a score?
I didn't
there?
give you a score. I'm gonna go. I don't even know if Boston College is ranked. I'm gonna go 5-1 Quinnipiac.
Gosh, I was gonna go something similar because I'm gonna kind of shit on Boston College a little bit here, but with a program that storied and that good, with the recruiting abilities they have, they've been shit the past few years. I don't think there's any excuse. I don't know why they're bad. I'm going to ride that train, though, because I'm not a fan. I do like some of the players that have played there in the past, but I'm also going to go Quinnipiac. I'm going to say 4-2.
All right. So it looks like we're unanimous on Quinnipiac because I'm also going to go Quinnipiac. I couldn't really come up with a reason. One of my roommates in the past at Fargo, he's on Quinnipiac now, so that's probably it. My other reason, BC doesn't have Johnny Gaudreau anymore, so I'm going 2-1 Quinnipiac.
I like it.
Good call. And then we're going to go on to the local match here, the Minnesota Gophers versus Mankato, and we're just going to pick, what do you think the series is going to end up? I'll start us off. I think the Gophers are going to sweep 2-0. They're ranked nationally really high. I think they're playing at Mariucci. It might be split series.
It's home and home. Yep.
Home and home.
Yep.
I don't know. Mankato just got blown out by Omaha, I think 7-3, 7-2 or something. Credit to John there. He's an Omaha guy,
Thanks.
but I think the Gophers just have too much for Mankato this year.
Yeah, I think my heart wants to go Mankato just for the same reason that you would like to see Denver win. It'd be nice to see CCHA, knock off a Big Ten, knock off the Gophers. But I don't know, I have that funny feeling that this might be, I don't know if it's the Gophers' year, but it feels like they've built up. They got a couple, I don't know. I just think they're that team this year that might have it.
They've got some really good young guys.
Exactly, and I don't think Mankato, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because Mankato is one of those teams where they bring recruits from God knows where. But I just don't think they're going to be the Mankato that made a run last year and the years before. I think they'll be good, but probably still win the CCHA. But I'm gonna have to go for sweep. Are we doing scores or just a sweep?
No, just sweep. Just
a sweep.
Just gotta call it right.
All right, so my reasoning also might be skewed. Not really looking at the current form of the teams. I know the Gophers are young, good. I know Mankato just lost Dryden McKay and a couple of their older, strong guys. But I hate the Big Ten. They ripped away WCHA hockey from me. I blame it all on them. I really hate that. I hate the Gophers.
It is all their fault.
It is all their fault.
They fucked up a good thing.
One of the best things.
Big, congrats. You got your TV rights. Now you're playing in front of empty stadiums. You fucking happy?
Yeah.
It's one of the worst
they should
things.
be.
Yeah.
They were selling it out every game that I went to growing up. Every game that I'd go to St. Cloud and watch the Gophers, they'd sell it out. They were selling out Bemidji.
Yeah.
Every time they would play in the WCHA, that was a sold-out game, and now they're playing in front of empty stadiums. Yeah, they got their TV rights, but for that reason, I'm going Mankato. Sweep, because I think they're going to squeak one out up at Mariucci, or whatever it's called now, 3M Arena.
Is it 3M?
It's
it
3M.
changed?
Well, it's 3M at Mariucci,
yeah.
I think.
So
again.
3M got the naming rights, but it's still Mariucci.
Yeah.
Fucking sellouts.
Yeah.
And then the number one rule in college hockey, you don't lose at home on a Saturday night.
I like it.
Cato's going to fucking blow them out game 2 at home, and they're going to go do their weird little thing in the underground or whatever that bar is.
I love that call. I'm excited to watch now to see what happens.
I almost want to go down to Mariucci on Friday night. I might.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the next one, Nail Gun of the Week. Does anyone want to start us off? Do you want me to start us off? I can start with the Nail Gun of the Week. So I watched a video on Twitter. Most of my Nail Gun of the Weeks are just from Twitter because I'm surfing it all the time. But there's these 6-year-old Chinese kids in class. And in China, they're teaching these kids synchronized physical mobility work. Well, these 5-6-year-olds in China, and there's fucking 30 of them, they're dribbling 2 balls and they're juggling them back and forth, and they're doing different lunges and stuff, and with 2 basketballs in their hands, they can and you can tell they've been practicing this for a while. And to see something like that, I mean, I don't think there's anything like that in America where we've got kids doing that type of shit. I don't know. I mean, that's just incredible to get these kids to be able to do that type of shit. I mean, there's
how do they buy into that?
I don't know how they get these kids to listen. If you're telling American little kids to do this stuff, they're like, "Fuck you."
They literally say,
"Fuck
you."
There's picking boogers and flicking. It's how are they that much more mature?
Yelling McDonald's at you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes into, American kids are a little more spoiled than other countries,
maybe a little.
But yeah, I mean, that's my Nail Gun of the Week for this week. I was just amazed by what I saw on there, and I don't know. I could watch that video for days, and I might share it again. It's just incredible.
That was incredible. So, my Nail Gun of the Week here. I know you're not going to take this because you're a fucking Packer fan, but my Nail Gun of the Week is the upright at Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
There
it is.
The double doink. It's good to see another one. There hasn't been one since the Chicago Bears lost in playoffs with the double doink, and that is just what the Vikings needed to go 3-1. First time Kirk Cousins has ever started 3-1 in his career. Vikings going 16-1. Quote me on that. Tweet it. I don't care. 16-1.
Hopefully the uprights stay hot for the Packers this weekend.
Yeah. The Packer in London this week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Packer in London. All right, should I go nail gun?
Yeah.
All right, nail gun. I actually got 2 separate nail guns, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's
and both
perfect.
include 2 people.
Love that.
So my first nail gun is the guy who caught Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball. I'm a Yankee fan. He probably now wants to kill me, this guy over here.
What's this guy's problem?
So I've been following this for a while. I've been waiting on it. You actually came over to my house and we caught Judge's 61st right at the right moment.
Caught it right at the moment.
Right at the right moment. But the fact that this guy just caught the ball, pretty much shrugged off everybody, $2 million offers in his face, and he's just like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this ball, which I respect, because I think if I had that ball, I think I'd just put it on my shelf for a while. I think I'd let people sweat. I think I'd let it build. I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd just hang on to that ball. My other nail gun from that exact moment was the guy who jumped out of the stands. Because that is a fucking nails move to be like, okay, here it comes. I'm going to jump, 10 plus feet to the ground. Like, as he saw the ball coming, he just jumped right off the fucking wall. Yeah. The ball didn't even end up on the ground. So this guy fucking falls down to the floor or whatever. But what a move, like, to have that in your head. Like, if this is a first row shot, like, I'm jumping. I'm gonna.
Well, he was clearly watching the Blue Jays guy who basically had it in his glove and just. Yeah. I mean,
that's for sure where he got it.
That's like like that Blue Jays drop. So you catch that ball. I mean, is it worth it here? You catch that ball, the 61st home run. It's like a 20-foot drop down. I mean, are you willing to break a couple legs to catch that ball? Because if you catch that ball, it's a couple $1 million in your hand.
It's crazy. Like, that's like having a lottery ticket like blow away in the wind and like lose it. Like, yeah. I mean, that ball hitting your glove is.
And then who gets it?
I mean, the Blue Jays game, a guy for the Blue Jays, like a coach, just picked it up, just went and handed it to like staff, and no one got the 61. I mean, the Yankees probably have it now, but yeah, that's nightmare fuel for that guy. I mean, how do you get over that?
You can't sleep. It's like the guy who lost his Bitcoin wallet.
Oh my god, that's
who had like
the worst.
$100 million in it. It's like, how can you go to sleep
knowing
the next night knowing money? you were like a centimeter away from collecting that amount of money?
Imagine you're just trying to make rent too. Like you're struggling to get by, and you got a Bitcoin wallet that could change your life.
So my question here: what if he misses it, right, and then he just goes, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and jumps down and lands on it, breaks a leg at the same time, but has the ball? Do they take it away from him for jumping
so.
out?
I think that's
I
interesting though, because I don't know. I know that the rules in the MLB are once the ball goes over the wall and a fan has it, like that's their right as a fan to catch the ball. Like they're not obligated to give it back. Yeah. But I don't know if they jump over. Like, what if staff just walks up and be like, "Hey, man, you're in the bullpen. Give us that ball."
No, yeah.
Sorry about your leg, pal.
We'll call you the ambulance here, but you're gonna have to give that ball back.
That's probably the rule. I mean, if you jump down in the bullpen, they'd probably put you in jail, and then they'd be like, "Okay, empty your pockets, give us the ball. We're taking that," and you're just fucked.
That's somewhere you probably gotta read the rules and regulations before, have everything in mind.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to those games, you got to do your research a little bit, like
especially if you have like a home run porch spot. Like you don't want to jump over the railing if you can't even get the ball.
No.
I mean, maybe the guy was 10 deep and just made a decision. I guess I don't know. I feel like we might have done the same when we went to that Yankees Twins game back in the day.
Purpur and I went to a Twins Yankees game a couple years ago, Wednesday night, and we're like, we'll have like 2 beers and then go home after the game. And game ends up going into like 14 innings. And the game's like, what was the game like?
It was like 14-12.
14-12. It was just an insane game.
Back and forth. Like
we ended up leaving the stadium after like 12 beers, just crippled on a Wednesday night.
I had Coley texting me like, she's already in bed. Like, when are you coming home? I thought you said the game would be done by like 10:30.
We left at like 1 a.m. something. It was nuts. Okay, well, good nail guns of the week.
Hold on, I had another nail gun. I just want to make a quick shout out. This will be quick. one of our best friends lost a baby about a year and a half ago, and they went through a pregnancy the last year, 9 months. One of the worst imaginable things that could ever happen to someone. I just want to shout them out because that's fucking nails. They just had a healthy, happy baby. Mom's doing great. Justin Moody, Haley Moody, congratulations. Milo Moody's an absolute stud. Love you guys.
Yeah, great shout out there. You know, not too long ago. I mean, that wasn't even. I mean, it was almost like just a year ago. They had the miscarriage, and I don't know. I can't imagine the courage it takes to try again right after that. But really happy it worked out for him, and now obviously Moody's just in complete dad mode, and overloading the Snapchat with Milo snaps, which is great. But
love to see it.
It's that's just a feel good moment for sure when you saw that baby come out, because I know Moods was keeping us pretty updated on the first one. In this one, we were kind of in the dark. We didn't really know when it was coming because he kind of kept it secret, and it happened. Just a great feel good moment. But we'll move on to the next one. Just a little discussion here, and I wanted to know. I thought about this because I've gotten in an argument with people before. But so when ice cream melts, is it still considered ice cream, or is it just cream because it's not iced anymore?
I honestly don't even know if I get it. Like, is it cream to begin with, or is it just sugar and milk? Or is sugar and milk cream?
When is? I think I know what you're saying. And
well,
I have my
ice cream is called ice cream because it's cream that's ice, that's frozen and it's cold.
But is it? Yeah, I mean, is it iced cream? I don't.
It's ice cream.
So,
I mean, why do you think you don't serve it warm? It's ice.
So Gage,
it's fucking frozen.
I know. I'm confused.
You're drinking or you're eating your ice cream cone, right?
Yeah.
And it spills on your shirt, and I go, "Hey, what's that on your shirt?"
Yeah, some cream on your shirt.
No. See, that would be weird. You're not going to say that.
So if you scoop a bowl of ice cream in your bowl, it's vanilla ice cream, say, and you just scoop it into your bowl and you let it sit overnight for like 3 days, and then all of a sudden, you come back to it and it kind of looks like a bowl of milk. Is that still ice cream in the bowl, or is it just fucking cream?
I mean,
it's not ice anymore.
I mean, just ask your own brain that question. Have you ever had a melted bowl of ice cream and stood up and been like, "Let me pour this cream down the sink"? Like, that's never happened.
Well,
it's
I mean,
ice cream.
a little bit. I mean, if
it's the remnants of ice cream. This isn't water and ice. This isn't like solid liquid gas.
But I mean, there's a reason they call it. There's a reason they call it ice cream.
That's true.
Because it's frozen.
Yeah, but it's still not cream. It's still the ingredients.
It is cream, though.
I think you're taking the ice part too seriously.
I agree. But okay, answer my question.
Yeah, okay.
You spill ice cream on your shirt. What's on your shirt?
Hey, you got some cream on your shirt. No, yeah, you're right.
You got ice cream on your shirt.
I just always wondered, what? It's just, I think about dumb things like this. It's like, well, it's ice cream. If it's not frozen in ice, it's not ice cream anymore. It's just fucking cream.
Maybe when they turn the cream into ice cream.
I mean, the same, like, what do you call your coffee creamer? It's fucking vanilla hazelnut. If you froze it, it probably tastes like fucking ice cream.
All right, that's a great argument.
I don't think it would.
But what do you call your fucking your creamer for your what are you calling your creamer for your ice for your coffee?
If you froze cream in coffee, it would just be a frozen. It'd be a frozen drink. It literally looked like an ice cube.
That's true.
Ice cream is soft.
But
like this is like
so. Then I mean, is cream in coffee not cream? Because I mean, cream is kind of like a soft, like substance. It's not like it's not a hard
milk.
Yeah, but it's just a name. Ice cream is just a name.
Okay.
Is it not?
I mean, that's what we're trying to get down to here.
I don't know. Just trying to have a debate here.
I'd say once they turn the cream into ice cream, from then on out, that cream is now promoted for the rest of its life to ice cream. Even if it melts.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
like
actually a good way
They
to look
give
at
it a badge.
Yeah.
Once it's turned into ice cream.
It's given the name, the title.
Yeah, because
ice cream, and it never goes back.
Because here's the other part, like cream. Like there's cream. Like that's actually like a thing. Do you even put real cream into ice cream? I actually don't know. I'm actually
I mean, ice cream is made from cream.
A bunch of sugar.
Yeah,
right.
It's the same thing essentially as coffee cream. I mean,
is it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's nearly the same thing.
That's it. So I just could go home and whip some cream and sugar together and put it in the freezer.
Well, you'd have to.
Well, there's a little different properties there. I don't know the chemistry well enough, but in the texture, but I do know it is very similar. I mean, ice cream is made out of milk and sugar, and that's what cream is.
All right. Well, then I don't know.
Maybe we make a poll.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll make a poll on Twitter and see what people think. We'll move on to the next one. I thought about this just looking at our past presidents. That run the entire the country. What age are you at your absolute peak, considering experience, wisdom, knowledge, physical mobility, health? What age are you at your absolute best? Your brain's, it's got all this knowledge, it's got all this wisdom, but you still have your motor functions. What age are you guys picking?
I honestly don't know. I know it's not like 78. But for me, I don't think I've reached my peak. I think my peak might be unreachable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Physically, maybe. But if you were to like continue with your physical, like, well-being and have it at its peak, also have like your best like wealth of knowledge and perspective on the world, and then for me, we've talked about this, you love to give me a hard time about it, but like having a kid's a whole new perspective on like everything.
For sure.
So I would say it probably, and I'm probably wrong, but I would say maybe like 38, like 37. Like you can still be like a physical specimen if you want to be. Like there's guys out there that are absolute, freaks in their late 30s, early 40s. They're in great shape. They've also done and seen everything that goes on in your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And then you're also like, at a point where you can kind of like look to the future and understand where like that perspective comes from too.
For sure.
So I would say I'm going to go with 38. Hopefully I'm at my peak at 38. I don't really see it, but
I think that's a good answer. You gave good reasons. I do. Very debatable topic.
For sure.
Insanely debatable topic.
John, do you have a certain age you're thinking right now?
So I actually got a call from Peter Tome on the way over here, and this was the one that I was wrestling with. I was like, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like my peak was when I was 18, like in high school, the world ahead of me. I think that your peak is right before you start waking up and you don't want to do whatever you're doing. I don't know if I'll ever reach that, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I love that point, actually.
I hope that I never peak. I hope that it's just a slow, and maybe I did one of these when I was in college hockey.
That's a good point. It very well could be just a slow, gradual, like your life just kind of always gets, you figure things out more, always kind of gets a little better.
Yeah, but if I ever wake up and I just like don't want to do what I'm doing, then I think before that happened, then I peaked. But again, I hope that my life just keeps going like this, which I think it has. I don't know about you guys, for me at least.
Yeah.
And once that day comes where I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed today, I think that's when I peaked. And then I'm going to text you. I'm text both you guys and be like, all right, guys,
this is the age.
Might have peaked, boys. We're gonna get a text from him. We're gonna be like 68. We're gonna be like, who the fuck's this? He's gonna be like, boys, I think I just peaked.
You guys want to come celebrate my peak?
Who the fuck is this?
Beers are on me.
Tells us his name. We were just like,
we're like, what?
still don't know, like, who's this?
By the way, I think I figured out the ice cream situation. You gotta get over here.
He never lets this night go. He's his whole life's based on it.
I think if that was the case, tonight would be my peak. So 25.
Yeah.
25 is a good peak.
So I mean, I have a number picked out for this just because. So, and my number is based on everything. It's based on, you know, your ability to find happiness, your perspective on life, what you care about, what you do. And for my age, I do want to state, I think your brain and your mind brings you a lot further than your physical ability. So I have experience and wisdom and, you know, all that stuff in your brain. I have that, you know, that's a heavier weight than your physical ability.
For sure.
Which is why I'm going to pick 55 years old.
Oh.
Obviously, like, you know, like Gordie Howe was playing in the NHL at 50. So you're 55. You can still, you know, lift weights. You can walk around fine. Your knees might hurt or whatever. But I think that's when you have gathered the most information and you still have your body intact to where you're not limping around or whatever. And I just think that's the peak age. And in the reason why I asked this question was because I was kind of thinking about the presidents of the United States. And, you know, all these presidents are 70, 75 years old. And it's like, when you think about the peak...
80, some of them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And when you think about the peak mental capacity of a human...
Joe Biden's about to be, what, 90, 93?
I think he turns 80 this year.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, even Trump's old and everyone else in the past. I mean, other than Barack Obama, I think was one of the youngest, other than JFK.
Yeah.
But it just, you know, it makes me wonder, like, why aren't we as a country electing, like, 55, 60-year-olds as presidents who are still kind of in their, you know, they're in their prime. They're still moving around well. Their brain's working properly. It's like, how are we electing?
The most insane part is like the argument of like that they're just figureheads anyway, and if they are, why wouldn't you want like the strongest, most well-speaking, smart guy that there is?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, if he's going to be a figurehead.
I don't know about Dwayne, but
I mean, I think
give me Vin Diesel.
Personally,
Come on.
Personally, I think Dwayne's going to make a run
at some point.
Yeah, so he's that type of guy. You know, he's
100%.
like, eventually he's going to get a little older, and he's going to be like, I could be president for sure.
I mean, that amount of confidence that guy walks around with.
Well, and that's the thing about presidents, you know, like, if you even run for president, you are the most fucking egocentric person in the world. Like, the smartest 10% of people in the U.S., they're not running for president.
They don't want it.
They know it's a joke of a job.
They don't want that headache.
No, they don't want that headache. You can't win. Half the country's mad at you, half's happy. Whatever you do is wrong. The smartest people don't want that job. It's all, you know, I mean, last year we're picking from Trump and Biden, and then the year before it's Trump and Hillary. It's like, are these the two best candidates we can get? I don't think
these are the two best Americans.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
The answer would be no. Yeah.
And that's when you kind of realize whoever's the president, I mean, it does matter a little bit, but it's like, are they affecting our life? I mean, maybe in gas prices or whatever. It's mostly your governor, whatever state you're living in. That's who you're kind of abiding by.
So, back to the peak age thing, we for sure established it's somewhere between 25 and 55, though.
Yeah.
So
it's nowhere past. It's not 60.
Be. No, I mean, and you may enjoy your life at 60. Like, you may have a great life. You may be in Boca Raton golfing every day, like what a...
No, and I think, even when you're 60, you probably have a better perspective on... And that's why I chose 55, because even when you're 40 and whatever, you still don't necessarily appreciate what makes you happy, the little things. But I think a lot of the older people do kind of appreciate those little things that make their life good. And that's something, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily have, you know, like my grandma and grandpa are happy when they, you know, pick a fresh apple off a tree. It's like, that's not going to make me happy at 27.
Unfortunately, I've been too stimulated in my life to be happy when I pick an apple.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So we've brought ourselves too far. It's almost like the, you know, when you get a little older, you get a little money and you're in college, you're drinking Busch Light and
Nothing wrong
Karkoff,
with that.
and then you start making money and you upgrade to maybe Grey Goose and even
Stella.
Bud Light, Stella,
Artois.
and then someone hands you a Natty Ice or a Karkoff, and you're like, oh my God, I can't drink that. I'm too fucking prestigious for that.
Yeah, I do act like that because like I pretty much only drink Bud Light, which is crazy because it's like the same thing as Busch Light.
So
But for some reason, I only
this
buy
guy
it.
likes the Yankees, the Packers, and he doesn't like Busch Light.
Wow, I like Busch
All
Light.
right. That's
I
fair,
like
that's
Busch
fair.
Light. I just
So Perp is a funny human being because, everything he supports and believes, you'd think like, you're like, all right, this guy's a fucking loser. Packers fan, Yankees fan, any other sports team he's a Chicago Blackhawks fan back in the Taves Kane days.
Tell me
Not
you're a
back.
Lakers fan. That was a fun team to watch.
He's a LeBron, fan in
fan.
in basketball. So whatever team
but I'm
LeBron's on.
I'm a Timberwolves fan too. So.
Yeah. So,
All right, that's
and then
fair.
he's
They're
got
my
all
only
these other
Minnesota
things that you're like, God, is this guy a fucking nerd? But he's actually, people wouldn't believe it, but he's actually one of the coolest guys you'll meet. So
He went to Northern Michigan, and I have yet to meet a shitty guy that went to Northern Michigan. So.
Northern's a place full of interesting characters.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. We went on a little tangent there. Okay, favorite chirp on the ice that you've heard. Do you guys have anything? I mean, I know mine, but I'll start us off, I guess, since you guys look like you're thinking. My favorite chirp on the ice was always, for people who don't know, the listeners, when you play on the national development team and you're playing in the USHL, every team hates you because all the kids are committed to college, and we're looked at as, these cocky little fucking 18-year-olds that are in high school, which we were 100%. We deserved all the hate, no doubt. But all the guys on our team, some of the guys would have offers from 10 different schools, and we'd be playing these USHL teams, and a guy would chirp them, and a lot of the guys would be like, hey, you committed anywhere, bro? Oh, you're not? I got a couple scholarships. I don't need all of them. You want one of my scholarships, bro? Like, you can fucking have one of them. I'm not going to use this one. I mean, you could fucking have it. That was my favorite one because it was so cocky, but it was so funny because these guys get so pissed, and it's just like you're playing on this cocky-ass team with these, 18-year-olds who think they're the best in the world, and we're all so cocky, and you're saying that chirp like, which one of my scholarships you want, bud? Like, you want one of these? Like,
We'll give you my Michigan one. Like, I don't even want it.
And I was never one to say that, just because I was never one of the great players on the team, but I always used to laugh.
Goes to North Dakota.
Yeah, I always used to laugh at when the skilled players would say it, because it's like, that guy has nothing to say back.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you
And
say?
what is he gonna do? Fight him?
Yeah,
He's
like,
Cage.
you
Yeah.
can't do anything. That was always my favorite chirp in hockey, and I mean, there's so many, but
I think for me, it's similar, but it was always against me or against somebody on our team. I remember we were playing Wisconsin one time, and a guy lined up next to a guy in a face-off, and he just like asked me, he's like, "Hey, how old are you, bud?" Just casually. I was rattled like the entire time because I was like 24 at the time. I was like,
Hey, nothing.
I just looked
nothing
at
wrong
him. I
with
was
that,
like,
by the way.
just looked down, like knew he was an 18-year-old kid. Anytime a young guy would be like we play the development team.
How fucking old are you?
They'd come up to Northern and be like, "How old are you, bud?" And I'd be like,
Fuck you.
"Fuck you, man." Just always rattled me inside a little bit, but I also kind of got a laugh out
It was
of it.
really mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a good one when they just ask you, like, if a young kid, when I was like a 23, 24-year-old in college, would ask me how old I was, I'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking old.
That's great shit. I mean, I can say, I wish I was one of those witty chirpers on the ice.
The worst.
I wasn't saying shit out there.
The worst
I
is
wasn't
when it
chirping
was
anyone.
The worst is when it was just a casual, like, "How old are you?" And you'd be like, well, take a look in the mirror. I'd be like, "Fuck, 24." What am I doing out here? These are kids out here playing.
Oh, that's good.
So I think the best chirps get the reaction of either getting the guy super pissed off or make him look at you and just laugh, right? I think one of my best chirps, I don't know, it's probably not super original, but playing against North Dakota, Hayden Shaw lines up on the blue line next to us, and you can explain the joke probably better than me, but I just go, "Hey, Shawzy, so are you and your dad gonna go find an SP team to play on after this year or what?"
That's unbelievable.
I've never met him, heard nothing but good things, but he just kind of looks at me and he goes, we both start laughing. So
and we both know Shawzy.
Yeah.
You never met him now to this day.
Shawzy definitely loved that one. He definitely heard it and was like, "That's good." That's funny. I guess for the listeners who don't know, Hayden Shaw played at North Dakota, and his dad was the assistant coach on the team, so he did eat a couple of those chirps, your fucking dad's the coach shit, which would be tough. I mean, I don't know if I'd like playing for my dad if he's the coach, but
he very well deserved to be.
He deserved to be on the team.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was an unbelievable
hell of a player.
But
I mean, he's playing. He's still playing somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it would be different. I don't think Shawzy would take it as well if he didn't really deserve to be there and he knew it was just because his dad is the coach. But he was there completely because he should have been there.
Right.
So he was able to laugh off those chirps.
Was he not there before his dad came in?
His first year was his dad's first year coaching.
That's
and his dad coached the USHL team he played for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right.
I didn't know that whole background.
But his dad coached in the NHL for a while. His dad's an unbelievable coach. It's like, it wasn't like that obvious. It wasn't one of those situations which, I mean, I've been in some of those situations where it was like,
100%, yeah.
The coach's kid's on the team and he's terrible, and it's like, I don't know if this kid should be here. But
like Shawzy's an all-time guy. He's not like your coach's kid. Like, no, he's not like a hardo. Like, he's like actually like a big time.
Oh, he is the exact opposite of the coach's kid. But that was, I mean, that's all time. That's
actually hilarious.
I wish I could have heard that one for sure. A couple of my other favorites were, we used to play Omaha and what's his name? VC.
Tyler Vessel or
Tyler Vessel.
Yeah.
Tyler Vessel was on Omaha.
VC was like Harvard.
Yeah, Tyler Vessel's on Omaha, and his girlfriend from Shattuck came to UND to play soccer, and she was at UND. So like every time we play Omaha, every guy's like, "Oh yeah, Vessel, getting your girlfriend over later tonight, bud. Hey, how you doing?" It's like those are always funny. Like when you hear those, you're like, "Oh."
When you were on the outside, you're on the bench, you're kind of like.
When it's not, you're like, "Oh, that's funny."
When you're on the bench, you're literally you just like sit there like probably is going over there later. Boss is heading home, and girlfriend's in town for the night.
You almost like you feel bad. You're like, fuck, that's.
But he's
tough.
on your team, so you're just like,
you know what? This guy went to college and he has a girlfriend that's going to another college. That's a rookie mistake.
That's a tough play.
Rookie mistake. So yeah, John, let's get into your career here. So obviously from Minnetonka, you played juniors in the BCHL, played in the USHL a little bit, played in Omaha, played in St. Thomas. So you've had a little bit of ride. Let's go over some of the Minnetonka years. Just growing up, just what it's like to, I mean, everyone knows in the Twin Cities, hockey's, everything to, if you're a hockey player and you're a hockey person. And especially Minnetonka. I mean, Minnetonka is such a powerhouse school that, everyone in the state of Minnesota knows. What's it like growing up there and just knowing, you're playing hockey for Minnetonka? Like, at what age did you kind of figure out or kind of realize, like, you know what, I'm gonna start pursuing hockey and I'm gonna take this seriously and this is what I want to do?
Yeah. So growing up, my parents always had us playing every single sport. We'd play baseball in the summer, hockey in the winter, and then we'd play soccer, football, kind of sprinkle that in there. My dad would put a batting cage up in the summer, and then as soon as it was cold enough, we'd put a hockey rink in our backyard, and that was kind of the place where everyone would come hang out. We converted our basement into a warming house, and it was literally the hangout spot my entire life growing up. But I never really made the decision to just stick with hockey until I think my sophomore year, when I had to get shoulder surgery after the hockey season, and that kind of made it so I couldn't play baseball anymore. But our parents never really wanted us to specialize. We'd always play baseball in the summer. Like, we'd always have our hockey friends playing these super high caliber AAA teams. Like, some that I can think of are like the Machine or Blades, but we'd kind of just do it for fun, and then they kind of let us pick what we liked the best.
Yeah.
And it wasn't super clear early on, right?
Yeah. And that's interesting for the listeners who don't know. And this podcast is about John, but his brother is Jimmy Schuldt, the captain of St. Cloud, Hobie Baker Award finalist, just an unbelievable hockey player. And so you have two older brothers, right?
Yep. 2 older brothers, 1 younger brother.
So I mean, I don't know much about your oldest
Mm-hmm.
brother, but Jimmy, I know Jimmy a little bit, just playing against him in college, and obviously he's in St. Cloud the same year I was, so we played against each other a ton and got to know Jimmy a little bit. He's just the ultimate competitor and leader and professional. I mean, from what I noticed out of Jimmy, every time I saw him, he was professional, and he's standing upright and doing the right things, and he's probably the hardest working guy in the room. Did some of this influence you, seeing Jimmy doing any of this, or were you trying to be like him a little bit, or?
Oh, 100%. So I think it started off with Joe. Like, Joe was the oldest one of us. He made Minnetonka as a freshman, something that none of my other brothers did, which is kind of unheard of. Like, usually at Minnetonka, you play Bantams your second year. You play your second year Bantams. You don't play high school as a freshman. Joe made it as a freshman, and then he got second place in the tourney, something that me and Jimmy never got to make his sophomore year. So he was committed to Tech, played in the USHL at the time. Like, I was watching the USHL just thinking, like, this is the coolest thing that I could ever imagine. Yeah. Right? So Jimmy kind of always had Joe to look up to. I kind of always had Jimmy to look up to. And I would like to think that Jake had me to look up to, but I think I might have been a little bit of a bad influence on Jake. I don't know. Jake, I hope I was a good influence. I normally try to make the right decisions, but honestly, just we all bonded over hockey, and like, that was kind of our thing. Like, we'd play each other in the backyard. We'd always do. So my mom also played hockey. My dad was a football player at St. Cloud, but my mom played with us, and we'd have 4 brothers. So we'd put 2 guys on one team in our backyard, 2 guys on the other. My mom would go on one side, my dad would go on the other side. And the last game of the night, we'd say, all right, loser of this game has to scrape the ice. And scraping the ice,
it's terrible.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta shovel it and get everything off.
Yeah.
Like, so this last game was just always like prison rules. Like, everyone, like, guys were hitting each other, like slashing each other. It reminded me of Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Like, just nothing like anything goes.
Did
whatever.
Mom get into it too? She was playing dirty. Or
She was kind of the ref, even though she was on one side.
Yeah.
Mom's probably trying to get him to calm down, and they're just fucking.
And my dad's kind of just like, yeah.
Take it easy, John.
There's nothing better than that brother fucking rivalry.
Oh,
like,
when the brothers get
you'll
into it.
never go harder against another person in your life other than your brother. Because you could do
that's
it.
where we differ. Like, you obviously, I didn't know you had all those brothers. Yeah, I know you have brothers. I just got 2 sisters. I didn't have that, which I'm extremely jealous of, because that sounds like you telling that story about just playing hockey with your family, like for scraping the ice, sounds like an all-time thing. Like, I now want 4 boys.
Yeah.
Like, that's like an unbelievable
And
thing.
we had lights, like, so we could play however long we wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just incredible. But, like, Tonka had so many good guys. Like, the guys that I grew up watching, like Jake Gardner specifically, we had Max Gardner, Justin Hall, my brother's team that
Vinny Letary.
I was hoping Olse was going to be here because they beat him in Hockey Day, Minnesota.
Yeah.
At Pagel in front of the most packed barn that I've ever seen. They were actually having to kick people out. The fire marshals were like, it's not safe that this many people are in this building.
Pagel's
and they
not,
wax
and
them.
Pagel's not like huge.
No, it's not huge.
Yeah.
It was just, but like incredible. So, Olse, if you're watching this, go Skippers.
Funny part is,
fuck the Hounds, Olse.
Olse is for sure taking it personal.
Olse is going to listen to this. He's going to be like, God damn it. I got to be there to defend myself.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's like literally biting his tongue right now.
Oh, because he loves the Duluth these days. I would too if I mean, it sounds like, you're from Minnetonka. Perp played at an unbelievable Grand Forks Central team, and nothing against East Grand Forks, and East Grand Forks is a great hockey program, but when I was growing up, we were never really involved in any of the big time games, and that stuff, so I don't take it as seriously, but if I was on one of those teams like you guys were, that'd be the biggest deal alive.
Well, it's funny because like I'm coaching on the girls' side now, but like I'll catch we'll get back from like coaching, like playing whoever Benilde over in SLP, and we'll come back to Braemar, and Tonka's playing Edina at Braemar. Third period, like walk out the Zamboni gate from the Hornets' Nest, and I'm like, holy shit!
It's juiced in there.
It's
more full than it's more full than 60% of college
for
games.
sure, and everyone's into it. Like it's like, and you got the student sections going. It's like the atmosphere at Braemar one night when I walked in there and they're playing Tonka, and I actually think so. This is my first year coaching, and Edina was playing Tonka, and I think it was 1-2 or vice versa. I can't remember on the boys' side, and that place was rocking. It was like midwinter, like I don't know. It just made me think like this is another ball game over here in high school hockey.
Yeah.
Like this is like
it was a college atmosphere. Every like
we're
playing Lake Conference. So you're playing every like home and home with every team. Like it was as close to college as it gets.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And there's so many guys that are gonna go on to the NHL.
Yeah.
Like half these rosters are all playing D1. Like
the skill level's so high.
Yeah.
Like that's like the difference. Like like you look at like some of the North Dakota games, like our team, like we had some skill. High end guys, but like you go to like a Minnetonka, Edina, Minnetonka, EP, back in the day, like these guys are. You got first round draft picks playing in that game.
Well,
and
that's like when you talk about guys leaving high school early to play juniors. It's like if you're playing in some of those games, you're not fucking leaving. If I'm playing in those games, I ain't fucking leaving. Like I'm staying, I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like Jake,
you can't miss out on that. That's something you can't playing in front of those high school fans. And honestly, I played high school football and was a sophomore in East Grand Forks, and we had a much better fan base for the football games in East Grand Forks. And we went to state that year. We were unreal. And then the hockey season, we lost out in semifinals, so we weren't that great. But we were really good in football, and it was like those were the best years of my life. It was like everyone's at the game. We were really good, and it's just like everyone like all the parents all the people you grew up around, like they're all around the.
You can't beat that like high school atmosphere where know everyone in that student section, everyone up in the stands,
like people in the opposite side student section, because if you're in the cities, you probably John probably knows some Edina girls. There's like some Edina guys that he played on the Blades with, whatever.
Nope, never played in the Blades. Gage, I'm thinking maybe that's when you peaked.
We found Gage's peak.
Did Gage peak in high school?
My peak was definitely when I was 15 years old, starting QB for the East Grand Forks varsity football team. Went to state first time since 2004.